Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It is night 3 here on Effective Living on YouTube. I'm so glad you guys are joining us tonight. I am excited about tonight's conversation. Here's the deal. If you missed night 1 or night 2, you got to go back and watch it. You got to go back and watch it. I'm telling you guys, there's so much information there. I promise you, you're going to identify certain things that you could use to even catapult yourself into the new year. Here's something that I discovered. If you pass the test, you don't have to retake the exam. Okay? If you pass the test, you don't have to retake the exam. And I believe 2020 was a year. Oh my goodness, it was full with so many tests. And so I'm honored and delighted to have my good friend Katherine Beneby, the one and only, joining me live on Effective Living YouTube. How are you doing, Katherine?
I'm wonderful. It's a pleasure to be on here with you. 20 lessons I've learned in 2020. When you first wrote me, I said, boy, I was ever going to set this reflection time, but you just had me jumpstart the lessons that I would have learned this year. So thank you for this opportunity to share.
Man, you are amazing. You've been doing what you've been doing for so long, blessing so many persons, not only in the Bahamas, but around the world. And people who are following you on social media, they know you're the real deal. And you're committed to helping people, building leaders, structuring teams, and advancing organizations through the different services you've been doing. And you work at the incredible QC, I love it, Queens College there in the Bahamas. Is the Continual Education Department, am I correct?
Center for Further Education. Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it. Go ahead and tell our viewing audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm Katherine Beneby II. Yes, I am named after my mother. That's always the fun fact that I share. Like you said, I love to help people however I can. And really, the vehicle I've been using the most is speaking, training, and coaching. And so most of my time is spent in those areas, empowering others to be their best self. Just as Coach Ricardo, you know, we want to see you grow. We want to see you thrive. And that starts with us first. And so I consistently look at my life and say, Katherine, how can you stretch yourself? How can you grow? How can you get better so that you can help all those around you to also stretch themselves and get better?
Well, you've been doing a phenomenal job. I've been delighted to know you. I've been watching your platform, and I'm excited that you've been able to make some time to join us tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, hey, you're about to be blessed, okay? Write down, make a note of it. It helps to reinforce what you heard, okay? While you're listening, write it down. As a matter of fact, take some notes. I got a message from a lady this morning, and she said, man, listen, last night was so significant for her because she called her husband in because we had Vito and Linda Patrick from Grand Bahamas, and they got the Unique Couples platform, and they were dropping marriage nuggets in relations to what they learned and how they was able to thrive in the midst of a pandemic as a couple. And so I want to challenge you tonight. Go ahead and engage yourself at the level to extract all that you need. I'm going to get out of the way, and I'm going to jump back in occasionally and play with some of the lessons that Miss Katherine have learned this year. And so, Katherine, go ahead. It's all yours. Let's see where we're going tonight.
Yes. So lesson number 1, drum roll.
Yes.
Know where your faith lies. I had to know where my faith lied this year. You know, there were moments where you weren't sure if your salary was going to get cut or you weren't going to be employed, or what adjustments I would need to make to my personal business. There was a lot of moments of uncertainty. But can I tell you, my faith was grounded like never before. I knew that there was no one else that could help me through those questions and the unsettling moments but God. And so really and truly, lesson for 2020 and for the rest of my life will always be to put faith and trust in God and know where my faith lies. You can't question in those moments. You have to be strong and have a foundation to stand on. So lesson number 1, know where your faith lies.
But I'm not going to stop you on each point, but I have to jump in there because one of the things I realize, I'm a pastor as well, and I'm aware that because churches closed their doors during this pandemic as well, there have been people who did not know where their faith lied, and they thought the building was the place where God met them, and when they weren't able to meet at the building, their faith was tested. Thank you for sharing that because such a significant point. And ladies and gentlemen, you're watching today, listen, at whatever time you're watching this, that's such a great point. Going into 2021, remind yourself, if God be for me, who could be against me? Listen, I'm going to win in spite of whatever happens in the world. God is on my side. So I need you to establish tonight, listen, God is with me. If you believe that going into 2021, in the church building, outside of the church building, wherever you are, establish that point. Miss Katherine, it's all yours.
Yes. So knowing where our faith lies. Now, number 2, check your perspective. So there was a quote I came across on social media during the pandemic, which said, ask yourself not why is this happening to me, but what is this teaching me? And I'm telling you, Coach Ricardo, I reflected on that so many evenings, so many days when it was like, hey, why? Then I said, no, what is this teaching? Instead of questioning that why, find the lesson. Like you said, there's always a lesson for us to receive or learn, but we have to be open to learning it. So what is this teaching me? That was a key lesson for me anytime I questioned. All right, so it's all about our perspective. The third point and the third lesson is watch those self-limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'm too fat. I'm not going to make it. All of these different things that we put pressure on ourselves and hold our own self back. You know, I have this graphic in my mind with this horse tied to a plastic chair. And because the horse saw himself tied to the chair, he thought he couldn't move. But we all know that that horse could break off running if he or she really wanted to. And so a lot of times we are the ones holding our own selves back, and it starts with our thoughts, our words, which then translates into our actions. So check your perspective, and that's what I had to do. And when I had those self-limiting beliefs like I'm not enough, I replaced those with saying I am enough. I can do it. I will overcome. You have to be able to declare those things over yourself, because if you don't do it, who will do it for you? You have to take that responsibility to guard those beliefs and the things that you speak over yourself. So check your perspectives.
Before you move on, I'm sorry, man. That was I know you was gonna be dangerous tonight. I gotta jump in there because I was thinking during this pandemic, there's been so many that have been saying that's just not me. I'm not that good. Just like you said, you know, oh my goodness, this makes
I can't go on camera. I can't.
You know, I know no computer. What is this Zoom thing? Oh, you know what I'm saying?
I'm too old. All these different things.
Oh, wow. And you know what? One of the things we can learn from the American election, 2 of those persons were 70 plus. Listen, that's a lesson for us in the Bahamas, eh?
Listen, it ain't over. It ain't over once you're 60. Or 65. All right, so check those perspectives. Then we move on to number 4, which is your passion. Passion is very important. Passion fuels you when you are discouraged. It fuels me when I feel like I don't want to move. Some mornings when it's time for me to work out, I have to really know my why in those moments. I want to feel good. I want to look good. And so that means I got to wake up and work out, right? So passion fuels you. It inspires you. It keeps you moving. Then 5, which a lot of us had to do during this pandemic, is launch into the deep. Some of us, we free-handed and went in, and others, we had to be pulled to launch out. But whatever your circumstance was, we learned this year that we can't be afraid to launch out.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I even adjusted, even being on StreamYard. I feel like I am pretty good with technology, but I had to learn the new technology to even advance my business and my services. So it's consistently, you don't never stop launching out. You're continuously launching into new territory if you want to grow and develop.
That's good.
Number 6, we are stronger than we think. We are stronger than we think. And when I think of the community in the Bahamas and even beyond, a lot of us have really, we had Dorian and then we had COVID months later, and as a country, there's a spirit of resilience that I'm seeing and I'm experiencing. And there's also this freshness of community, like this fresh wave of being community minded, being your brother and sister keeper, And so I heard about this in the old days, but it just seems like a new revival amongst us. And it's good to experience as a millennial to see that we can look out for our neighbor, whether that's your literal neighbor or somebody who you are connected to. So continuing to tap into our strengths and resiliency. Very important. Okay. 7, technology is where it's at. We learned that surely in this year. Whether you're young or mature in years, we know that technology is here to stay. And in the Bahamas, we've been a little behind in that. And this pandemic, again, has forced us to embrace the technology in ways that we would never before. And so I feel like that's a positive step in the right direction to continue to help us to grow as a country. And even the world, I'm sure different ways that different countries were stretched with technology, even if they were more ahead with it. And so technology is where it's at.
I like that one. I want to push those that are viewing. I want to find out how much have you pushed yourself to embrace technology, because that is such a good one. Listen, when I left R.M. Bailey, I went to R.M. Bailey, and I left high school. My graduating year was 92. Now, I could remember when they introduced the first computer lab. Now, obviously, I was not qualified to be among the students to go to the computer lab, but should there was even an option given to me, my mindset was, I'm into them computer and thing, right? And so there are persons now in 2020 who have yet to commit to learning the computer. Now, here's the deal. I've been out of school now for more than 25 years. More than 25 years. And here's what I'm studying now. Katherine, you're going to like this. I'm studying coding.
Okay.
I'm studying coding. Now, years ago, I can remember, listen, I got my first laptop in 1999. Okay? In 1999, I got my first laptop, first computer on my desk. And it's 20 years later, I can remember typing. So when you say technology is where it's at, there are people watching right now. Don't fight it, embrace it. I want you to write that down. Don't fight it, embrace it. It's not going anywhere.
It's not.
Okay? It's not. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, as a matter of fact, it was up to last year, Katherine, in order for us to pull this off, we would have thought we needed to be in the Bahamas, probably sitting across the table to do an interview like this. I'm in Dallas, Texas, and you're in the Bahamas, and we're able to influence the region and the world through technology.
Yes.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Truly amazing. So don't fight it, embrace it. I love that. Now we move on to our 8th lesson, and it's creativity is a must. Creativity is a must. And so I've been to drive-ins, I've been to drive-bys, I've been to virtual parties. I've seen advertised safari walk virtually. There is so many opportunities that we can embrace in person and online following the COVID-19 protocols. And so don't limit yourself as to what you can do. I even saw a boys book club, again, online. And so anything you can think or imagine, can be done online or based on the COVID-19 protocols. It just takes some tweaking and creativity. Trust me, anything you can think of right now, and I stand on this, anything you can think of right now, you can do.
So
Creativity is possible.
So you saying that probably those people who are lazy and don't want to be creative, they're more than likely found themselves either losing last year or they will be losing in the future.
Yes.
Because creativity requires an engagement, and lazy people don't want to be engaged. They want it to be the way it used to be. Do you know, Ms.
Excuses.
Excuses, exactly, right? Do you know that there are some people who are saying, I can't wait until it get back to what it used to be?
It's gone. It's gone. It's not coming back.
Say that again, because there are some people who are saying, I can't wait until it gets back. It ain't coming back. Tell them, Katherine.
It's gone. It's not coming back. So you need to listen to these lessons so we can move forward.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So creativity is a must. Anything you can think of can be done. So we cleared that up, and I've proven it. We have the Bahamian Exchange. That's an event that I coordinate at Queen's College, as you would have mentioned. And we've already announced that it's going to be virtual.
Yes.
And that has even opened us the doors for an international feature.
Yes.
So, you know, so let's look at the positives. Let's look at the positives. It's not what can't be done, but what can be done. Okay? Then don't be afraid to try new things. Okay? So experiment. I did an interview with 2 startups during the pandemic, and that's one of the things that they told me that they spend most of their time doing. Experimenting, trying new flavors, seeing what works, what doesn't work, perfecting it, and then bringing it to market. But you can't bring it to market if you don't experiment and try different ways. All right. Don't be afraid to experiment. And when you fail, when you will fail, use it to learn, and you keep moving forward.
I have to say this on that experiment one. There's a Caribbean restaurant here in Dallas. And once a week, I would go by occasionally and get me some curry chicken. Okay. But obviously, everything's shut down. I wasn't able to go out. Guess what? I went to the farmer's market, got me some curry, and I ended up making curry. So I experimented. I'm connecting with. I feel more like a chef in the kitchen.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You got to experiment, try new things. All of these points are connected. Embracing creativity you didn't even think you had. So awesome. Now we're on to number 10. This one is big. I need a drum roll for this one. This one is big. Consistency matters. You don't know how many people I have worked with this year that have stopped because they didn't get the results that they were hoping for. And I told them, I said, that's the problem. You have to post even when you don't get a like or comment.
Come on.
You have to activate when nobody even shows up to your event or your project or somebody doesn't buy into your idea. That's a part of the journey. You're going to have people who aren't going to move when you want them to move, but it's not that they're not watching. And that's what many people fail to realize. Just because people aren't moving when and how you want them to move, that doesn't mean that your message is not going across. So please, I always beg my clients, I beg them. I say, listen, keep putting in that work, because when you put in the work and you remain consistent, the clients, the products, the services, whatever you want to move or sell, it will pay off. And I share this story all the time. I got certified with the John Maxwell team about 5 years ago. And I can surely tell you, within this 5th year has been my best year. But it's because all of the work the prior 4 years what brought me to this point of where people say, wow, you just seem to be flourishing now in your speaking and training and coaching, but they didn't see the 4 years before building and when you may have not seen me as much, you know, and so that's how a lot of people really stop. And that's what I want to encourage people to do. Anytime you see someone a success, you don't see the years and the time and the effort and energy. So you only put in a month of work.
Are you want to give it?
And you're ready to give in? No, man. You got to put in the work, the time, and sometimes it takes years. But you remain consistent and you will have a great taste of success.
I have a drop a lesson in there because in addition to what you just said, one of the things that helped me to do that, and which is such a great lesson you're sharing, is that I had to decide not to allow my feelings to govern my performance. I had to tell myself my vision will govern my engagement on a daily basis, not my feelings. And so you gotta, if you live and operate on your feelings, you're gonna be like this. You're gonna be like this. And because feeling come and go. But if you have a vision and you lock in on that vision, Katherine, such a great point.
Yes, very important. Consistency is key. Now we are on to number 11, and I'm sure some of y'all ain't gonna like this one, but it's important. Discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline, sticking with a plan. So one of the tangible ways that I did this year is I had a budget, even before the pandemic started, just saying, hey, this is what I'm spending within this month. And if things came up that wasn't within that, then it had to wait until the next month or whenever I had planned to be able to accommodate that. And so budgeting is very important. And that's just an example for me of how I was disciplined and obviously saw the rewards from that. And also something else I would add with discipline is that you learn that, all the things that you think you want or need, it's not really a necessity.
Wow.
And so it helps you to sort of assess and say, well, I need this, or maybe that might just be a want, something I can hold off for later. So yes, discipline, creating a plan and sticking to it. Very important. I know people don't like to talk about discipline, but it's a key point to being, as we talk about it, Ricardo, effective living. You got to be disciplined in whatever it is that you're going after. All right. And then lesson number 12 is appreciate each moment. And this is something I had to learn, because if you talk to me about 5-6 years ago, I was always a high achiever. And so whenever I would accomplish a goal, it would just be, okay, what next? I would never stop and actually celebrate the achievement. And that's something that I had to learn. I obtained my certified associate in project management designation this summer. I had 3 weeks vacation.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm telling you, morning, afternoon, evening, just studying. And I saw all these points I'm talking about: discipline, consistency. I'm telling y'all, these are the lessons I had to put into play in my life to achieve that designation, which I had put off for about a year. But I made up my mind that this was something I was going to do. So appreciating the moment. And of course, when I obtained the certification, I treated myself to some ice cream, because of course we were in the COVID time. You can't do no bunch of outings and that kind of stuff. But something so small, you would say, just ice cream? No, it don't matter. It's just something to recognize the achievement. For somebody, maybe buying some jewelry, doing a new hairstyle, getting a pedicure or manicure, whatever your celebration is to you, you embrace it. But take the time to stop and appreciate the moment. And that's something I'm so glad I learned and I'm living.
Nice.
All right. And then number 13, be open. All right. And this is really talking about in relationships, in the workplace, etc. Really realizing that the way that we think and the way that we process may not always be the best way. So being open to new ideas, different feedback, different input, it's very important if we want to continue to grow and live effectively. We got to be open to different perspectives. There's a quote, African proverb, which says, if we want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so we don't just want to go fast. We want to go far. And so if we want to go far, we can't go on our own. We need community. We need like-minded, like-valued people to help propel us to where our destination is, or whatever goal we are setting toward. All right. Number 14, let your work speak for you. Let your work speak for you. And really and truly, most of my clients this year for coaching came from referrals. And that's really the best form of advertising, word of mouth. And really and truly, I've talked about it before. It's a process, and it's being consistent, being out there and really not being afraid to tell your story. Let people see who you are, even the background stuff, background photos, videos. It isn't all about coming on the camera with your makeup and everything on. Sometimes people want to see those hard struggles and things that you went through. And it builds a connection, and people want to get to know you, and they also want to see how working with you can propel you forward, especially for those who are in the type of business of what we do, as in helping others with their goals and dreams. So do your work well so that others will be looking for you. You don't have to be pushing yourself out there every minute. No, the people will speak for you. They will come looking for you when your work is good and it's also bringing results for others. All right. And then number 15, your circle matters. I'll repeat that again. Your circle matters. And so these are the people who are around you. Are they building you up or tearing you down? That's a question I want you to ask yourself right now as you're listening. Are these individuals in my life building me up, or are they tearing me down? And for sure, if they're tearing you down, you know what you need to do. We don't even have to wait. And at the end of the year, people are always like, who you don't want to take into next year. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying it doesn't matter the time of the year. You should just beware of people who are not taking you forward. Always try your best to associate yourself with people who will stretch you and help you to get better. All right. And really the people around you also influence you. So you want them to influence you in positive ways. Yes. All right. And then number 16, in difficult situations, I've learned this year that it's all about your approach. Yeah. So Coach Ricardo, there were some situations where I could not just respond right away. Yeah. There were some situations where I would have had to stop, assess, and then reply. Okay.
Yes.
That was a good lesson for me this year. Everything does not require an immediate response. As leaders, you may be watching right now. Listen, not everything requires an immediate response. Stop, assess, and then respond. Yeah. Very profound lesson for me, especially this year and in my personal leadership. Number 17, know your worth. Yes. You gotta know your worth.
Yes.
Know your worth. Really, even when I look at the speaking and coaching, Coach Ricardo, at some point I didn't even know what to charge. If somebody said, oh, Catherine, I want you to come speak for me, or I want you to be my coach, I didn't have that framework in place. But now you come to me, I could confidently say it's extra or extra. I don't have to think about it. It's already processed, and I know my worth. I know what my services are, what are the results that clients should get from this service. And the key thing, Coach Ricardo, is if we don't know our worth, then we can't expect other people to know it. So very, very important to know your worth so that you can put a value or figure to it as you promote or try to connect with clients or whomever. So very important to know your worth, because if you don't, you'll cut yourself short. Yes. Okay. Then number 18, don't let a no stop you from a yes. Ooh. Don't let a no stop you from a yes. Yeah. And really and truly, if a person doesn't decide to go forward with a product or service or sign up for whatever it is, or deny your proposal, it's okay. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Yes, you may feel hurt for a day or two, but you can't stay there. All right? Because when you stay there, you stop your process of getting to the yes. Yes. Okay? So don't let those no's. You will get no's. Like, let's be real. Like, Coach Ricardo, I'm sure everything you presented or proposed, I'm sure you've gotten no's. So have I, right? So that's a part of life. So I think don't stop you. Mm-hmm.
I think it's what qualifies you to be able to say, you know what? On that day when you eat that ice cream, like you said, or you do that thing, you say, hey, if you know what I've been through, let me enjoy my celebration, because I've had my shares of no's.
Exactly. So don't let the no stop you from the yes. And then 19, this is one that I've always been doing, and it's taking time for personal reflection. So at the end of each day, I have my quiet time where I process what went well, what I could have done better, what's coming the next day, what's coming that week, things I want to change. I go through all of that. And journaling is one of the key ways that I express that. Or sometimes I just sit with my own thoughts and God and just process what all is taking place. But I would encourage individuals to really make self-reflection a part of your routine. It's very, very important in moving forward, because if you're not processing your daily life, how will you continue to stretch yourself? It was late one night in October 2018 when I decided that, hey, I was tired of just how I felt physically and how I looked. And that's why I went to a health coach and I said, listen, I'm ready for a change. And that's why we can't be afraid to reach out to people like myself and Coach Ricardo, because we know what it is to shift our lives and really challenge ourselves. We too have had these defining moments that have caused us to shift and help us to be where we are. And I can tell you, that was a year plus later, I'm still on the journey, still consistently losing and challenging myself in new through this pandemic. We couldn't go to the gyms. I actually was a part of an outdoor workout group. So I did YouTube and some stuff online for a while. And then I got an app, a workout app. And I was like, hey, I can pay for this subscription. So Beachbody Demand, some of you may know about it. And it has tons and tons and tons of workouts on there. So again, one of my previous quotes, getting creative. I had to take ownership. I could no longer say, oh, I have a trainer, so I gotta show up. No, during this pandemic, I had to say, Catherine, you gotta be your own trainer. And you don't wanna come out of this pandemic in a worse predicament than you were before, right? So taking ownership for your life, and that comes through self-reflection. So it's very important. All right. And then number 20, I can't believe I'm here. I made it. Number 20.
You did.
Legacy. And my motto is living my legacy now. And what I did for all my clients who worked with me this year, Coach Ricardo, I gave them a customized mug of my motto, living my legacy now. And I challenged them, and I want to challenge our audience tonight to truly live the way they want to be remembered. And I feel both Coach Ricardo and I are trying our best.
Most certainly.
To truly live each day with purpose, with grace, and really embracing all that God wants us to be. And so really legacy, I have it in my room, on my frame, living my legacy now. So each day I have that reminder that, hey, even when you don't want to move, or even when you don't want to pour out, you are here for a reason. And it's a reason why you are doing what you do. And so please, if you need to put those reminders in a place where you can physically see it in your phone, on your computers, whatever you need to do to keep you fueled and stirred to embrace each day, please do it, because your legacy matters and each day matters. You have a quote, Coach Ricardo, which talks about your days. That's a perfect segue to that. Quote.
Hey, thank you so much. Yes, listen, I say days are expensive. A day wasted is a day you will never have again. So remind yourself every day, as Katherine mentioned, listen, man, love yourself. Engage yourself in the process to ensure that you're getting everything you can out of life, the lessons you would have learned this year. Make sure that you don't go into next year repeating the mistakes where you should have learned something. Thank you, Katherine, for taking some time out this evening and sharing with us what you got out of this year. And see, let me tell you, when I invited these individuals, I thought, you know what? These are the people that will share something that I knew. They did not allow the year to come and go. They were learning, okay? They were learning. And these are people who are advancing in the midst of a pandemic. Come on, somebody. Woo. Listen, you better tell yourself, 2020 is going to be my year. Nothing is going to stop me from advancing in all that I put my hands to. I'm going to learn what I need to learn. I'm going to unlearn what I should have never learned in the beginning, and I'm going to excel. Katherine Beneby, I know you have another obligation and response event activity to be a
Yes.
part of. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing. And listen, record time. She was like, roll it. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I really appreciate this time to share. And I'm even going to sit with some of these points that I would have shared with you all today and just further digest and even add to the lessons, because it's important to look at these lessons so that we can continue to repeat the ones that worked, and the ones that didn't, we look at them and find ways to improve to get better.
Hey, before you leave, quickly tell our viewing audience how they can connect with you, and possibly for those who are desiring to capture the services you offer, how can they get with you?
Yes, so I'm on Facebook, Katherine with a K, Beneby, and my website is www.kbiicommunication.com, www.kbii, that's the Roman numeral 2, communication.com. So either one of those ways you can get in contact with me.
Excellent. Once again, thank you, Katherine Beneby. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back here tomorrow, the same time. We're continuing this series, 20 Lessons I Have Learned in 2020. Don't miss it. Share the word, share this, and put which one of the lessons that Katherine, or all of the lessons that Katherine shared that got your attention. Put it in the comment below. Please subscribe and put on your notification. Good night, everyone.
Good night.